Hello, everyone. It's Sunday night, and the 10 killer meetup is over. I'm sad because we've been waiting so long, but it was awesome. And everybody had a good time, as far as I can tell from all the lives I've seen already. But I still have a lot that I need to watch because I haven't seen them all. So here we are. Let me uh-oh. I need to I need to do this, and I need to do that, and Troy. I need to pop out my chat so I can see when Troy says hello. Okay. Let's shrink that down a little bit. Move it over. And oh, stop that, you stupid thing. Now we need to open this one up and then open up the chat again. Oh, you know what I should do? Is I should get rid of the other one, because if I don't get rid of that one, I'll end up getting confused and opening the wrong one. How are you, Troy? Good to see you. How did your weekend go? Let me see. Yeah, let's do that and that. And I'm not sure if I should put my link up or not, because I don't know if there's anybody there that's going to want to join in. Oh, we have 4 people now that are peeking. Hello, everybody. All you lurkers out there, jump in. Thanks for coming. Much appreciated. I have not gotten to watch too many lives tonight except Wanda's. At least not the usual lives that I watch on Sundays, because I did watch one live from I did watch a live that Johnny at Gillum Farms posted from this morning. And that was a long one. And then later on, I watched a little tiny bit of Bowen's Bible chat live, but I got there late and I didn't really see much of what he was talking about before I ended up having to leave. Hello, Ace. Hello, Rebecca. Just got home. You had a good time until Ronald decided to take a nosedive. But thank God he's okay. And you guys had a good time. I know you did. I know Ronald was having a ball. Every time I saw him before he had his little incident where he fell, he was all smiles every single time I saw him in anybody's videos. He had the biggest smile on his face, and I know he was having a good time. And I know you were having a good time too. Hello! You're watching Falling Down? Well, it's late and it's Sunday night and we're all kind of ready to crash probably. I slept very late today. I think I woke up around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah, it was it was very late this afternoon. Yep, I know. I uh I feel your pain. There are 9 people watching, and there are one, two, three, 4 people in chat. We have 5 lurkers, folks. Hi, Avid. Just in case. I know Avid's always lurking everywhere. Anytime there's a live, Avid's watching because he likes to know what's going on. But he doesn't want anybody to know he's there. Yeah. The poor guy. But at least nothing was broken, thank God. But he definitely looked like his face was pretty sore. He definitely banged up his nose a wee bit, which is a shame because the poor guy, he was having such a good time. Ah, oh, okay. The movie, okay. The movie Falling Down. Lurking.com. You're absolutely right, Ace. There's a lot of people that go there. Okay. I've definitely never seen that movie, but I do remember hearing about it. Wasn't that the one that had something to do with Wall Street or something? I'm not sure. I know he did a couple of movies about Wall Street. He did Wall Street. I think that was one of them. And I'm not sure. I think maybe Falling Down was one of them too. Or something around that kind of. Low drops. Yeah, it took me long enough. Sorry, I had to get a refill because my cup was empty. Gotta have my juice. Okay, he's just fed up. There are a lot of people out there that are very fed up. Some are fed up about this or that or the other thing, but there's a lot of fed up people out there. Not everybody is fed up over the same things, but yeah, things are not going well in the world. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that nobody is paying attention to God at all. He's not even a part of their life. Even if they claim to be believers, they still ignore him. It's like he doesn't even exist. He's an afterthought. And he's just trying to wake us up and say, hey guys, I'm still here. I'm just old, but look like late 40s. Yeah, I wish I could say that. I'm just old and I look it. I might not act my age, but I don't think I ever did. I was always older than uh, my age. People used to think I was a lot older than I was when I was a kid. No, and they don't know who Jesus is either, or the Holy Spirit. They have no clue. They really don't understand them at all. And they don't really want to know, most of them. Because if they know, then they might have to change the way they live. And they don't want to do that because they want to live the way they want to live. And, God's gonna be fine with me. I'll be okay. I've never done anything bad. I never killed anybody. That's not the only sin that can send you to hell. That's my husband. That's how my husband is. My husband is 78. And now he's starting to look like he's, maybe late 60s. He's very young looking for his age. I found a picture of the two of us about what the heck was it on the back? I think it's 1994 that the picture was taken. We were at one of his nephew's weddings, and we were sitting at the reception at a table, and somebody came along and took our picture. I think it might have been my niece, our niece, or one of my nephews, or somebody. Somebody came up and said, Uncle Jerry, Aunt Lori. So we kind of, did the old pose thing. And I found it yesterday and I'm going, wow, what a difference. Yeah, I got to figure out some way. I don't know if I can just take a picture of it. I think I could probably take a picture of it with my phone, or maybe take a picture of it with my laptop and then edit it and post it. But it definitely we're definitely looking a lot younger than we are now. 60 is not old, by the way. Yeah, I'll spill the beans. I'm 60 and look better than Fabio now. Okay, so we're going to see you when you come up to sing on Wanda's Live next week. Hello, Mickey. I brought my coffee back to the computer and saw that you were alive, and that's good. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. The more the merrier. I love having a lot of people here. It'd be nice to have somebody that wanted to pop up and say hello, because I miss it. Because Chris used to come up all the time, and he'd be up here just shooting the breeze. And unfortunately, for the past month, he's been trying to get his schedule so that he's awake during the daytimes and be able to get up early in the morning. Do you want me to tell you how I found out about the voting deal, or would you rather just drop the subject? If you want to tell us how you found it, that would be fine. But I don't want to get in an argument about it. How's Ronald feeling now, Rebecca? I bet he's sore. Even though he fell and didn't break any bones, I bet he's still feeling the results of crashing to the ground. Who's got your pick? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's public records. You can't hide that. It says what your voter registration information is, but it doesn't tell you who you voted for. It doesn't tell anyone who you voted for because nobody knows who you voted for. Just because they know what party you belong to, it doesn't matter. Because you're free to vote for anybody you want. You can say you're Democrat and you're voting Republican, or you can say you're a Republican and vote Democrat. Who's going to know? Nobody will know. You're not talking about my avatar, are you? Drops. Oh, yeah. Don't, you should never put your number plate online because people can track you by that. Ronald really hasn't complained much. Another notification. Um, about pain, but I'm thinking he would let me know. Yeah. So he's. I doubt it. That's one of my favorite pictures, by the way. I have a lot of pictures um, in my folder, and sometimes I'll use a different avatar. Sometimes I use an avatar of the Blessed Mother. Sometimes I use an avatar of Jesus. Sometimes I use an avatar. Very rarely do I make an avatar with me. Um, Sometimes I put up, depending on if it's, like at Christmas time, I might put up a picture of the Holy Family all around when Jesus was born. Um, Sometimes I put up a rose. I have a picture of a rose that my son took of a rose that was blooming at my friend's house when we were house sitting for her. And he took a picture because she was going to miss it because they were on vacation in Florida. And he didn't want her to miss it because by the time she got back, it would have gone by and she would have missed it. And it was the only bloom well, it wasn't the only bloom, but it turns out that it was the best bloom on the rose bush that she had that summer. She doesn't even own that house anymore. But it was a beautiful picture of a rose, and I'll use that as an avatar. Yeah, I know what rose hips are. They're the little balls that form after a rose goes by. It's like a fruit that forms after the rose dies. And people make jelly out of them. And I think they make teas and stuff like that. No. I know you've probably mentioned where you live, but I can't remember where it is. How big is the house? How many bedrooms have you got? It'd be nice if I could have a 4-bedroom house. Unfortunately, I only have a 2-bedroom house, and I still have 2 sons living with me. We don't have a finished basement. Remember Nostradamus? He used it to cure the plague. Ah, yeah. Oh, I know who Nostradamus is. Trust me. Yeah, no, rose hips are a very well known medicinal plant, medicinal berry, sort of. 2,700 square feet, 3 beds. We have 1,200 square feet, but the second story is a story. It's a story and a half. So the second floor is like a half. So the actual usable space is less on the second floor. So it's kind of awkward to try and get another bedroom out of it because it's just the way the stairway goes right up the middle of the house. So it makes it really awkward trying to we finagled this and that and the other thing trying to figure out how we could make one more bedroom out of it, and it was just not feasible. You save rose hips. You have a 600 square foot church in your house? I'm confused and intrigued. An actual church or just a shrine type thing that you've built in it? Or are you kidding again? Oh, so it used to be, did it used to be a parsonage or something and attached to a church? Does it still have the old pews and stuff in it? Ah, okay. Yeah. I hate even talking about that BS, which is exactly what it was. That was part of the plan to shut down churches so they could try to kill what little faith people had left. And it worked because a lot of people gave up on church completely after that. Yeah. That whole fiasco was uh, an experiment in how much they could get away with. and how much they could get people to believe. Lots of people fell for lots of stuff that was all a bunch of lies. But we won't go there because I'll probably get my channel banned. Don't get me started. Because I tend to be vocal, sometimes too much, more than I should be sometimes. You got to be careful with dreams like that because they might not be from where you think they might be from. And it's faith. Why people think that faith is the most important thing, I have no idea, because it doesn't say that in the Bible. It doesn't say faith is the be all and end all that God expects out of us. No way. I know, I've heard that story from you before about your dream that you met a lot of people. I don't know what caused your dream or how it happened. I never heard any other details except that you said you had a dream and that you know the Father is real. Yeah, he's real, but he doesn't have a body like we do. Only Jesus has a real body, a human body. And nobody's ever seen the Father and nobody ever will. Well, until we get to heaven, if we get to heaven. That's the only time we're ever going to see the Father after we die. Yeah. Been there, done that. And I've had premonitions of things that were going to happen, and they did. And it broke my heart, but I knew it was going to happen, and there was nothing I could do about it. Yeah. Nobody will ever see the Father until we actually die and go to heaven. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. Well, luck ain't got nothing to do with it. If we qualify, there is there's a lot more to get into heaven than just faith. I'll just say that. No, probably not. The reason we draw pictures and paint pictures of Jesus is so that we remember We're not worshiping a picture. You don't worship a picture. If you have a picture of your mother, do you worship your mother? Do you worship a picture of your father? No. Just like having a picture of a family member, a painting of your family member. If your family member, if you have a long history of family that goes way back to before there were cameras and they have their portraits painted, do you look at them to worship them? Nope. It's a reminder to remember where your roots are. And Jesus should be everybody's roots. One soul. That's all? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm sure he probably also meant save your own in that many. Red hair uh, like a carrot top hair? Because that would be weird. But you have to remember, people don't know. People really think that the only Jewish people from the Middle East 2,000 years ago all had dark hair. They think their hair was pretty much almost black, dark, 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 dark brown. And they weren't. They were from all over the Middle East. And some of them had blonde hair. Just like people these days, people in the US that have all different colors of hair. There were Jews that had all different colors. Even today, there are Jews that have light hair. I have a very good friend that we used to play music with all the time, and her hair is dirty blonde. And she's Jewish. Well, somewhere in her, I think her mother was, I don't think her mother was Jewish. I think her father was Jewish. I'm not sure. I really don't want to say for sure because I'm not positive. But she had other. There is not a pure Jew remaining on the earth today. There are none that are 100% Jewish blood. None, not one anywhere. No matter how much they say they are, they're not. They might be, a good portion of their blood might be Jewish, but it's been 2,000 years since they were scattered after the temple was destroyed. No, no. Jesus had no brothers, no sisters. That is a fairy tale. Because back then, when the Jews referred to their family members, anyone that was in their family line was known as the men were fathers, the boys were brothers, the girls were sisters. It didn't matter if they were cousins, aunts, uncles, really their mother and father, or sister and brother. It didn't matter. They were all called sisters, brothers, and father or mother in their whole family line and all the branches of their siblings. Yes, they were from the tribe of Judah. Yes. No one really knows where all the tribes ended up because God scattered them for a reason. Because they rejected their Messiah that they had waited for so many thousands of years to meet and to learn from. And they refused to learn anything, and they refused to accept him as their Messiah because he wasn't doing what they expected him to do. They expected a human, earthly savior that would save them physically from their physical enemies from around them in the real world. And that's not what Jesus came to do. He came to save their souls, not their bodies. Yeah, see? Gnosticism is a heresy that goes back 2,000 years. And where did you learn Gnosticism? Because the Gnostics didn't really exist all that time. Every now and then, somebody reaches back and reads about them and decides they want to be Gnostic too. That's what Joseph Smith did. That's what a lot of the others that had similar beliefs. It was definitely the Pharisees that were, yeah, you're right. The Pharisees were the ones that were in charge of the tables. There were people working for them. They didn't do it themselves because they didn't want to be caught by the people. They didn't want the people to know that they were the ones that were buying and selling and making money off of selling animals for sacrifices and stuff. The Pharisees were not very good Jews. Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's where Joseph Smith got it from. He started reading about the Gnostics and he got all excited. Oh, look at these guys. Yeah, those Catholics are all wrong because, the Gnostics were the right ones. It was a secret. And they know all the secret knowledge. And everything's secret handshakes. And it's what Masonry is based on, too. And what's the goal of the Masons and the Mormons and a lot of other churches? We got to tear down that Catholic Church. They're evil. They're the Antichrist. And who's still standing after 2,000 years of everybody and his brother trying to tear down the Catholic Church? It's still there. What did Jesus say to Peter? Upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Yeah, exactly. They spread so much untruth. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but and I have been friends with and I used to think that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, were really good because they do have a lot of good things about them. But the twisted mess that Joseph Smith wrote in that, well, he didn't really write it. His compadres actually wrote it because I don't think he was capable of really writing. The Book of Mormon is so wackadoodle. Yes, absolutely. They are great people, but they don't know that they've been misled. They don't realize it. A lot of people are misled and they don't realize it. A lot of people think the Catholic Church is the most evil thing on earth and it has to be destroyed. Well, good luck with that because there's a reason it hasn't been destroyed yet. But it will go through its crucifixion and it's rising again. And it's been that way many times over the centuries. The Book of Mormon, yeah, it was written by one of Joseph Smith's friends that were with him when he started out. And his dream, total BS made up. And if it was real, it was even worse. He was a charlatan. Sad to say that he fooled so many people because he had a way of.
Don't heal anyone. Never heal people.
He really got to the women.
Like we're going to die if you don't heal us.
First of all, because he was good looking and he had a silver tongue. And he convinced them that he knew. He claimed that God is a man, a human being, and that the Mormon men will be gods on their own planet out in space, making spirit children, which is oh yeah. I know there are bad people in the Catholic Church. Martin Luther was high on that list because they don't like what the church teaches because it sticks to exactly what Jesus taught. They don't like that because it makes them look bad. So they say, oh, I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. It's cafeteria collect. It's known today as cafeteria Catholicism. I'm going to pick and choose just like going to a buffet. I don't want to believe that because I like my sin over here, and you saying it's bad. I'm going to hang on to my sin, and you can. No, I won't believe that. So what happens when you keep hanging on to your sins? If you want to hang on to your sins instead of hanging on to God, where are you going to go? Where are you going to end up in the end? Zionism is as evil as it gets. That will definitely lead to the Antichrist.
Yeah, just stop.
And this whole thing of rebuilding the temple, what the hell are you, crazy? Told someone you believe in the Bible, which one? Yeah, well, there's only one that goes all the way back till like the 3rd century when the Pope said, we need to put this stuff in writing and we need to gather it all together and see which things are true and which things are bogus to stop people from reading and stop spreading around because they're lies. That's why the Catholic Church was so picky about who was translating it, who was, for one thing, they used to complain. They were complaining. Martin Luther was complaining that the Bibles in the Catholic Church are chained to the podium so nobody can take it away from there. Well, yeah. You know why? Because, for one thing, most people in that time period were uneducated. They could not read or write. What good is a Bible going to do them if they even had a copy that was in their own language? They couldn't read it. If you can't read it, what good is it? And for another thing, all of those Bibles back then, before the printing press, were handwritten and copied word for word, stroke to stroke by monks that copied it meticulously and reread it and reread it and reread it over and over again to make sure that it was perfectly correct. And then somebody else was proofreading it to make sure that it was consistent with the original. They did the same exact thing as the Jews when they were copying scriptures. The same procedure. the Catholic Church is a continuation of the Jewish religion. It's the fulfillment of the Jewish religion. Yeah, he probably stole it and sold it at the nearest flea market. Uh, I have a video on my homepage
I understand.
that I posted a couple of weeks ago by a man named Roy Showman. It looks like it says Schumann, but it's pronounced Showman. Shoeman. He was Jewish. Yeah, I know. I was a little, yeah, I meant what you knew. Anyway, Roy Showman was Jewish. And I've got two people that I follow on YouTube. That one of them is this Roy Showman, and I don't personally know him, but he's Jewish, and he was by the book Jewish, followed everything to the letter. Faithful Jew, went to synagogue, did all the things the way a Jew is supposed to do, and was very active Jew. Not one of the Jewish in name only that really don't believe in Judaism at all. They don't believe in God at all. Same as Catholic in name only. They're Catholics that don't believe anything. They just go to church just to look good in front of everybody and to socialize and say hello and, get together for special breakfasts and to chit chat after mass and have their little clubs that they belong to, the garden club or the ladies club and the men's club, and they just go there because they want to socialize, and it's a good place to socialize. Well, there's an awful lot of people that do that in every religion. But this guy was an absolute, hello, Kevin. Pelosi, Biden, yeah, no, they're not. Absolutely. You are absolutely right about that, Drops. Absolutely. They are Catholic in name only. Just like they're just, yeah, they do not. And what used to bug the heck out of me, Pope Francis approved of them all the time. He was always patting them on the back, telling them they're doing a good job and they're good Catholics. No, they aren't. They don't believe in God at all. If they did, they wouldn't be doing the things they do. They wouldn't be all for murdering babies or old people. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's There's a lot of people that claim to be Christians, but they're not
Some of them.
really Christians either. They are Christians only because it's a social thing. They're social Christians. They're in it for the fellowship and the getting along and having, you know, their weekly get together to have a potluck dinner after their services where they might read a little bit of the Bible. But there's a lot of people that claim to be believers in God and they're not. I mean, Jesus said if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can tell that mountain over there to jump in the sea and it'll go. Well, why is it that people pray for somebody that's sick to be cured? They're not cured. They might get better for a little while, but they're not cured. If they really had faith, and that's the big thing, you got to have faith. Well, if you got to have faith, then what does that say about your faith? Well, yeah, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is a triune God. He's three persons, one God. I hope I can go to heaven. I think I might have a good chance, but I'm not going to bet on it because it's not up to me. It's up to me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. You got to avoid sin. But most people think, oh, God understands. He knows I'm weak, so he's not going to make me go to hell for sins. What do you think? Oh, Jesus died for all my sins. They're all gone now. Okay. A scenario. You're a little kid. You're about 9 years old. You got a brand new bat and ball, and you're going to go out and play baseball. And your mom and dad tell you, don't you be batting that ball too close to people's houses where you can break a window. And he says, oh, no, I won't. Well, okay, you go have fun. And as he's on the way to the park, he decides he's got a nice big yard. He wants to play now. So his friend Johnny comes up and says, what do you got? You got a bat and a ball? Let's play baseball. So he says, okay. So little Johnny, he's going to get up there and he's going to, not Johnny, the little kid that owns the bat and ball, let's say his name is Bill. Okay, Bill gets up and holds the bat up, and Johnny throws the ball to him, and he goes smack.
Please do not.
And he hits a long fly ball, and it crashes right into his neighbor's house, right into the window. Smash it to smithereens. And it's like, oh no. I broke a window. And then the neighbor comes out and says, Bill, did you just break my window with your baseball? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go see your father. Oh, no. So he goes off to tell Dad that little Bill hit a baseball right through his window. So Dad comes out and says, Bill, did you break that window? Did you didn't listen to me? I told you to go where it was safe to play baseball. But you decided to play baseball in the backyard, too close to the house, and you broke a window. Yes, Dad. Well, first of all, you apologize to Mr. Jones and you tell him how sorry you are for breaking his window.
There's no reason not to.
I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean to break your window. Okay. Well, just don't do it again, okay? I won't. And then Dad says, well, there's only one problem left to solve here. What, Dad? That window needs to be fixed. And Mr. Jones shouldn't be fixing it. This is going to have to come out of your allowance. You need to pay for that window to be fixed. Oh, Dad, but I was saving money to get a bicycle.
Wow.
Well, I'm sorry. It's going to take a little longer to get a bicycle because you need to pay for that window. Okay. Dad and Mr. Jones forgive little Billy for breaking the window. But now Billy still owes to pay for the window? What? Wait a minute. You mean it's not enough to say I'm sorry? Apparently not. So why is it good enough to just say I'm sorry to God? How does that compute? There has to be some way of paying it back. You got to pay for those sins. Jesus opened the door and said, I'm sorry to God. And he offered himself to say, I'm sorry to God, because only he could do that for us. But we still sinned and we still owe him. So how do we pay for it? Nobody wants to know about that.
Those first? Those were first.
Hindus, Islam, etc. Throughout time, they just rebrand the Father. Oh, yeah. Sin is definitely sin. I've broken a window doing it, and I fessed up to it. Yep. And you said sorry to the person that you broke the window. I found a wallet in the field. So when you broke the window, did you have to pay for it? Or did your dad pay for it? When I was 7, I kept begging my dad for a 22 rifle. I'll tell you how my dad trusted me to get one. I found a wallet in the field I used to walk through to the house from school. It had $342 in it. He called the guy and he came over and everything was there. It was his entire paycheck. He offered me $20 and my dad said no. Dad told me at 7, I think you responsible enough to own that 22 rifle. He bought me one the next week and I was proud. My dad trusted me to own a 22 rifle. Yeah, I had to mow their lawn for a year. See, that's what you call penance. There's no place in the Bible where it says, God's going to forgive you. Sure, God's going to forgive you. It does say that God's going to forgive you, but he also says fast and penance. All of the apostles did fasting and penance all the time.
I guess I'll go for
that was part of their life.
Kind of. I don't want to do legs or chest. So, I'm not thinking that. Okay.
But the guy you broke the window for, at least he forgave you for breaking the window. Oh no, that was a different guy. No, the wallet. So your dad wouldn't let you take the money from him? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. You found a wallet. It had $342 in it. The guy came and he offered me $20 and my dad said no. Okay. Well, you did something good, for sure. You gave it back to him. Okay. Now I get it. But what about the guy with the window? What happened with that? Did you have to pay to get the window fixed? Or did your dad have to pay for it? When you go to if you were say you committed a crime and you go in front of a judge and say you were stealing money from whatever, somebody that had money and you found it, you didn't find it, but you actually stole the money. When you go in front of the judge, what does the judge do? He says, did you, he asks the lawyer, because the lawyer is the guy that's your advocate. And he's the guy that talks to the judge. And the judge says, this man stole this amount of money. The penalty for that is 6 months in jail. Okay, you spend the 6 months in jail, but 6 months in jail is for stealing. But besides that, you have to pay back that money to the person you stole it from. There's never just one punishment. I'm just making up a scenario. I'm not saying that you stole money. I'm just saying if you did and you went before the judge and let's say you're guilty. Let's say Joe Schmo is guilty and he goes up in front of the judge and the judge says, you stole this money. First of all, you're going to pay the money back. Then you got to spend 6 months in jail. Because that's what the penalty is for committing the crime of stealing that much money. You know, because it depends on how much money you steal, how much time you get. Say it's just a little bit of money, so you know it's not a huge amount. You know, it's $1,000, so it's 6 months in jail, whatever. There's never just one punishment. There's always restitution. You got to pay back what you stole. You got to pay back what you did to the other person. So if you're standing in front of God and you have committed this sin, and your punishment for this sin is so much time in jail, and you're going to pay back the person that you sinned against, which is God, how do you pay him back? Restitution. Exactly, Ace. Oh, did I miss Christy? Oh, there you are. Hi, Christy. I saw you in somebody's video. I think it might have been in Johnny's video from, I can't remember if it was yesterday's or today's. Yesterday's. Yesterday morning, I think. Hi, Troy. Troy's back. Right, but that's not the point. You've never committed a sin, ever. Never in your life you ever committed any sins. You're the perfect human being, the only one next to Jesus. Yeah, Johnny Gillum. Johnny's video from yesterday. Aren't they? I'm telling you, the people in this little community are freaking awesome. I still haven't watched that video, but I'm definitely going to be watching that one, Kevin. I think I saw the end of it, the video, or I know I saw a little clip. It might have been just as you were signing off. So I have to go back. I have a bunch of videos that I have to go back and watch from 10 Killer. The whole weekend was awesome, and anybody and everybody was up there making videos, and there are lots of them to watch. There's some from the Gillums, some from Dale and Nana, some from everybody. Kevin at the powwow. No reason to be nervous or shy around these folks. Chris! Hello, my friend. How are you? You looked like you were having a good time. Sitting around yakking with everybody, walking around with Faith. She's looking good. Okay, we can stop this yakking session, I guess. We got a whole bunch of people all of a sudden popping in. Yay! I love you guys. I'm sorry, I was getting too preachy anyway. Shame on me. It is, isn't it? I'm telling you, this community is awesome. Oh, goody. I wish I could have been there. I would have loved to pet Miss Faith too. I would have given her a big kiss right in the middle of her forehead. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay, where is it? I got to move this over. Oh, there it is. Okay, now I need to do this. Paste, enter. Pin message. Trust me, I would have definitely been so happy to be able to go. Hello.
Hi,
How
neighbor.
how you doing?
Well, after I got home, I had to make a few text messages to people, let them know I made it home.
Yeah.
And then I got unloaded, and then I was like, I am not going to even bother to cook. So I loaded Faith up again. We went to the local Sonic and got a cheeseburger, with bacon because I had to do it because of Jesse from our lazy days ahead. But
uh,
anyhow, I want you to know, Miss Lori, that it was like it was amazing because one, yes, I got to meet Christy and her wonderful husband, and then there was another group. Oh my gosh, uh, Christy, help me out. It was something with catfish or anyway. They were also. I heard them that couple who was kind of sitting
Dakota
beside, but
and Shayla.
away, but
Oh,
away from Christy and her husband. I heard them say that they were from Conway, Arkansas, and I'm like, well, they're from. I said, y'all just get your chairs and pull right over and get right up in here in this here group, you know. And then I found out that they did not have a channel name.
ah.
And so I said, okay, you two, meaning the husband and wife, I said, you two need to start talking, come up with a channel name because it's going to happen today. And then I went back to Christy and her husband. I'm like, when they were doing the giveaway and all that, and so I said, when they called out Christy's giveaway number or ticket number, I was like, get up there and introduce yourself. Get on that live and tell them who you are.
Yeah.
And then there was other people, Jack Dyer from Dyer
Dyer
Family
Farms.
Farms. He was coming by with his camera. He was doing a live. Dale came by, and kind of helped coach. And Christy's over there going like, I'm shy. I'm going. I said, next year when you're here at Tin Giller, I said, you're going to be a social butterfly. You're going to be going around seeing everybody. But it was like a family. It wasn't like a YouTube meetup or anything. It
It's
was
like a
like,
family reunion.
yeah, a family reunion where everybody was coming up going, hey, how are you? And
Yeah.
what can I do to help? And then
Yeah, and of
it
course
was,
everybody had to get their hugs in first
oh, I want you to know the first thing I did when I got there is I went to find Dale
and give them a big hug.
and get a big hug from Dale. That was the first thing I did.
I bet.
I got to meet Rebecca in person.
Yep.
She towers over me. You know what
She's
they say?
tall.
You know what they say about tall women? They got a big heart.
She
And I got
does.
to meet Ronald, and then I got to meet Blue, Rebecca's dog.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Blue. Oh my
Yeah.
God. He is such a big teddy bear. And it was just like, I wanted to sit there and just, every time I walked by him, I would say hi to him and I would pet him. He's such a great dog.
Yeah.
And
How did he get along? How did Faith get along with the dogs that were there? Was she okay?
she was, but it's like
Don't get
she's
near
not
my
used
Chris.
she's not used to being by other dogs, so I kept a tight leash
Yep.
and all that. And but she really liked Kelly from Rebel at Heart.
Yep.
She owned up to them real quick, and Christy, she owned up to her real quick. And I'm like, it was hilarious because when we're sitting there, Christy and her husband and myself, and Christy had, it was like it was just like Faith was just going over there, and I'm like, I guess she doesn't need me anymore. So it
After
was,
she was there for a while, she got used to everybody and found out that everybody was really nice.
but and forgive me those in chat because with me being on my phone right now, I don't see chat. So if y'all are asking any questions, Miss Lori will have to tell me or something like that. So forgive me, but I wanted to jump in here and say that it was a true blessing because to meet all the people
Does
and to
that help?
see people. Oh, I got it now. Yeah, but I gotta, no. Okay. But it was a godsend. I mean, every meal that we had before we ate, they gave a blessing. On Sunday morning, they had a church live, and all that.
Yeah. They
Um,
had Creekside Chronicles.
yep, 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 and all that. And it was a very nice fellowship. And I mean, I've got to make a video so that I can show my things that I won on the giveaway. Christy won something, and her husband won something. All right. I'm gonna turn my phone over here like this for a second. Bear with me, folks. I gotta find it. There's chat.
Uh, oops. He disappeared. He hit the wrong button. He'll be back. I'm sure. Amy's my adopted sister. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely, Troy.
okay.
You're back.
Ace, look up the channel "Figuring It Out Without Catfish." It should have like a handmade pocket or a knife in the picture on the icon. See if you can find it and post the link because uh, we need to go and support them and sub to them because they're a new channel. They're great people, just like Christy and her husband at Bayou Back 40. Because yes, Christy, remember I told you I was going to promote y'all's channel, and yes, I did put your channel link and Fishing Without Catfish in my on my post to get the word out. So anyhow, let me get
Uh
the phone
oh.
back.
Uh
What happened?
oh.
What? What I
We
missed?
have Drop. Drop, where's your picture? I don't see a picture.
Come on, Drop. Put a picture in there, man. You can do it.
Get your camera going.
You may have to go back out and let your camera have access.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you have your camera hooked up.
But it was, I'll say this much. It was sad that the 10 Killer ended to me because it was such great fellowship and everybody there was, I did get to meet Tony and his lovely wife Angie,
Angie.
and I got to actually pet and love on their dogs, Coda and Willow.
Ah, cool.
I got to meet Toby from Louisiana, or excuse me, not
From
Louisiana, Lazy Day Ahead.
yeah.
I got to meet Toby. Who else did I meet? Oh, I met so many other dogs. It was just I made sure every dog I said hello to. You know,
Uh,
I handed out over.
Drop,
I
say
ordered.
something. Drops, type something in private chat or something. You got to turn your camera on. I wish we could have stayed longer. We were wanting to beat the storms.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's but you got there. You made a footprint, Christy. You
Yep.
really did. and it's just going to go from here, and it's just going to go on. It's just going to go, and it's and all that. And what reminds me, Christy, sometime I either need to email you or text you. I need to ask you a couple of questions about your crafts. I have an idea, and for a gift. So,
Okay, I see a light. It looks like you're flashing a flashlight into the screen, into the camera.
oh, I wonder where you got that from.
Yeah, but I don't see his face. Okay, I'm gonna do it just because
Oh,
I know you've been around for a long time, and I'm gonna trust you. I just hope we see more than just a light staring at the camera.
I'm trying to, but I can't. I don't know why it's working this way. Um, okay, I'll put my hand in front of there. That's weird.
Do you have a
I-
light
I-
on behind you?
Yes, I do, but I run off of Linux. I don't run off of Windows, so it's kind of weird, you know.
Oh, maybe that's it. But
I don't know what the problem is.
it looks like a red ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now too. That's maybe I can go to another computer or something like that. I got like 5 of them around here. No, I'm a web development guy in IT and security and stuff like that. But I run off of Linux because it's much safer than Windows. And
Yeah, I know.
and so
I
I don't.
never learned anything about Linux though, and I'm not familiar with how to use it.
Well, I run the most of those on my servers that I run for my clients. You know, and it's like, you know, if I wanted to rob my clients, I'd probably be a millionaire and run to Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kidding. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. I just don't know what's going on. I tried it a little while back with StreamYard and it wasn't working either. I don't know what Linux is doing. So, you know,
I don't know. It's like it's facing the opposite direction or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I can close the lid a little bit. What that changes it. I don't know. This computer's running kind of weird, but it also has Windows on it as a dual boot. And so I'm kind of wondering if the last time I did that, instead of running Linux on a total, then Windows got in there and tried to corrupt Linux, and then it was kind of
That's
weird.
not a good thing.
No, I don't. I don't trust Windows. I never use it anymore. I haven't used it in 10 years. So
Yeah. I don't like it, but it's the only thing I know how to use. So, and I'm an old fart, and it's hard to teach old farts new tricks.
thank you,
Well,
Christy. I will probably call you or something this afternoon sometime.
Can you see us?
yeah, I could see you fine.
Oh wait,
Right on the screen.
let me go in. Let me go in witness protection program then. That's what it is. Drops is in that witness protection program.
That
Oh,
must
come on,
be it.
come on, Chris. Come on. You know, I've only lived 2 places where I didn't have a sheriff next door to me. You know, as a friend. My wife got a ticket one time over there in Atlanta, and you know, my second wife, she passed away from cancer. But she got a ticket, and then he worked at the courthouse over there. So he talked to the judge, and he got her out of it. That was kind of funny. I was like, "Thank you." You know, it's like
Yeah.
she got a ticket because I told her not to drive a damn car I just bought, and she drove down the road and got a ticket because she didn't have any insurance on it yet.
Oh, jeez.
No, not kidding. Ridiculous, you know. I told the woman, and she had my kid in the back seat and all that stuff, and I was like, I didn't get insurance on it yet. I just bought the thing for her, you know. And
Well,
Not
technically,
ready to go driving around in.
if you just bought it, you're covered under your current policy for a period of 30 days, and to where if yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
usually
Chris.
there's a grace period.
Yeah, Chris. It was kind of that deal, and I just talked to him because he lived next door and he mowed our lawn all the time. I forget his name now. It was a deputy sheriff over there, over in we lived out by Winder. Um, I lived out in Winder, Georgia for like almost 20 years. But we lived in an apartment building. He lived right next door to us, and he had a nice girlfriend that was disabled and stuff like that, and whatever. He was a good guy. And
Well, Miss Lori, I want to show you one thing. This was Christy. Christy Gillum was giving out towards the end to pretty much everybody, but I'll show you both sides. But the one side I really want you to see. I don't know. See if I can do it on this with this camera.
Let me bigify you. Hold on.
Well,
Oh, now I got.
I don't know if I got the camera the right way, but I'll show. There you go.
There it is.
If you read that,
It's not what we have in life, but who we have in our life that matters. Oscar Wilde. Yeah, absolutely.
the point of it is that this brought me to tears because everybody knows what happened with my, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Drop. I'm sorry. But with Faith in the situation that I was in with Faith, I had people saying, just get to the vet. We'll figure it out. Okay.
Yep.
So to me, this was like a sign from God to me. And so this is going to be something, I mean, out of all the things that I've got from Tin Killer, this is the most important thing to me. And on the front of it, that's what it says.
10 Killer YouTube Meetup 2025.
So, but like I said, the most important thing, if I can get over here in the camera, is that.
Yep.
That is such a true statement. I can't, and it's like, and to go back on to Tin Killer, you're not walking alone. You're not, when you have a situation, you're not alone. We as a community will come together.
Yep.
Because the reason why I was summoned 3 times during Tin Killer while I was there to help others. So,
well, that's a blessing, because what you do on the others, you would expect from them, and then God blesses you for that, Chris. You know that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, but the thing is that, okay, so with my situation with my dog Faith, I was getting ready to have to cancel Tin Killer just so I could pay the vet. I wasn't going to be able to go. Then 2 individuals, if I get my fingers over here, 2 individuals took it upon themselves to do a live, get the word out.
Yep.
And do everything. And Miss Lori, thank you. I know what you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know everybody yet. I'm waiting for the list to get compiled, and I'm going to do something for all those that helped. And I will say thank you to those who prayed, because y'all, I mean, everybody knows I'm single. Everybody knows I have a dog named Faith. It's her and I. We've been together for 15 years. She is everything to me.
I know.
And, the doc came back in and said, we're going to put her on this and this and this because we're trying to keep her from having liver failure. which liver failure, obviously, as everybody knows.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Teresa. Um, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So we have to go back on May 28th for her to get more blood work to see what her liver enzymes are doing, if they're still high or if they're in the normal range. So anyway, but
Well, it's pretty hard to lose a pet, but losing a wife is actually worse, Chris. I mean,
I know. Trust me. I mean, losing a family member, doesn't matter if it's a wife, husband, a child, especially a child, you know, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, nephew, niece, or just anybody that's family.
I
Yeah.
But the thing,
actually lost my nephew about 3 months ago to fentanyl, and he
I
was
hate
36
fentanyl.
years old. 36 years old, for Christ's
Oh.
sakes, and that was
I hate,
hard.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a,
That rips your heart out.
yeah. And the thing is that a pin needle, like, how when people sew, they take pins and they use it to hold the fabric down or whatever.
Yeah,
The head of a pin needle, you can just have that little bit of amount of fentanyl,
And
and it
it'll
will
kill
and
you.
it'll kill you.
Yeah.
yeah. He was
And
36 years old and died of fentanyl, and my sister was devastated because that's her only kid, and
Oh.
I was just it just broke my heart.
Oh. Yeah, that's painful.
yes, sir, I agree. It is, and it's not, in life, parents aren't supposed to bury their kids.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah.
And I'm not wishing that on anybody, or I'm not. Don't Please don't get me thinking that. I'm just
No,
saying.
I can
I'm
tell you
just
good. I can tell you're a good cop. You know what I'm saying? Because good cops care about people, and I've lived next door to many of them, mostly sheriffs. Um, and I'm amazed at these kids nowadays. They don't want to do anything, and then they get involved with that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, he was a good kid. He didn't have any trouble with the law or nothing, but he just decided one day to go out and get drunk and take some drugs and stuff like that. And I was like, are you kidding me? It shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, look at society now. Back in the days, we didn't have to lock our doors. Back in the days, we knew our neighbors by name.
Yeah.
We could trust people. We could let our kids, or us being kids, we could go out and play. And when the street light came on, our rear ends better be at home, or you were going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about people coming up going like, "I've lost my dog. Have you seen my dog, little girl?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, how many?
Well,
Well,
Can you come with me in the car so you can help me find my dog?
I
Yeah.
mean, when I went to high school, in our vehicles, in our trucks, in the rear window, what was there? Hunting items, and I'm not going to get Miss
Yep.
Lori in trouble.
yeah, I
Uh,
know, I know. In fact, when I was a kid, I was in the rifle thing for school, and we took our 22 with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and now it's sad to say in society, and I'm not trying to get on the political soapbox. I'm just saying what society is, ladies and gentlemen, is that now we have to have police officers, sheriff's deputies in our public schools.
that's sad.
And
That
that's not
is
funny.
absolutely sad.
That's not funny, Chris, because actually, I used to live in Winder, Georgia, where they had that shooting. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
I lived about 2 blocks away from there in the house, my fourth house that I bought with my wife of 17, almost 18 years before she passed from cancer. And it was a nice society, but they still had sheriffs there at the door all the time, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't understand that. But
Yeah.
that place got inundated from bunch of Yankees. You know what I'm saying? And nothing wrong
No
with that.
offense, Lori.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I know she's Yankee, but she's a good old Yankee. But
Oh yeah, my
you know,
dad used to call himself a swamp Yankee.
but
But
I was,
yes, but uh, go ahead, Drops.
it was amazing to me that I heard that on the news. Like, it was probably a year and a half ago now, right?
It's
That
been a
Mm,
that
while.
that went down. And I was like, that used to be a really good neighborhood, and we didn't have to lock our doors either. And around here, I live in a little small town now near Arkansas, and I don't lock my cars, I don't lock my doors. Nobody comes and steals my, like I'm doing like 5,000 plant starts this year because I'm starting a new business, right? And I've been self-employed for like 30 years. I've done everything. I started out with a little TV, VCR, and computer repair shop. I did 2 dial-up ISPs, and I did pretty good on that. I had about like 5,000 customers. You pay me, a profit of like 125, 150 cents, a month. So I was making pretty good money doing that, and I did computers and bought laptops and stuff like that from friend Matt, which I kind of didn't like very much because sometimes they get a little bit angry, and eventually I didn't like the guy because after a while I found out later he killed his wife, and I was like, he killed Nikki for no reason at all, and I was like, oh my god, Matt
Wow.
was his name, and he's in jail right now in prison, finally, but he ran somewhere else, and but I've done a lot of business with people, and I've always done business, and I enjoy business, but I also enjoy law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I respect my officers and stuff. I like the sheriff up here, Sheriff Bill, up there in Pocahontas. Good guy. I've met him, and I work with law enforcement, and you know. Um, I went up to the courthouse there because I took this widow up there because one of these sheriffs around here is not a very good guy, and he gave her a ticket for a vicious dog. So her husband just died, so like 6 months ago in September, right? So
okay.
I took her up to the courthouse because she got a ticket for the dogs because she was freezing in the middle of winter. She called up this one friend, and then this one friend took her over to the house with all the dogs. She has a bunch of bulldogs, and I guess they went after the cow or something because she let them out, and not her, but her friend. And then her friend assaulted her on,
Huh.
on top of the dogs, and she wondered why she got bit by kicking a bunch of bulldogs. And I was, I know these things because these 6 dogs were like, I went over there and talked to Kenny all the time, sat on the porch with them all the time, and we had a lot of spiritual talks, like I was talking to Lori in chat, you know what I'm saying, about religion and stuff like
Yes, sir.
that. And talking about many things, and but so I had to take her up to court because she doesn't have her license because they both got botulism and almost died from it, and then he
Oh my.
died later on. Yeah, it's pretty sad,
Faith,
and
it's okay.
you know, and I just like
All right.
I was like, she don't have no license. So next week she's going to get her license test done because she has to
We
go do a license. She's going to have her truck. She has her truck insured. Get that back on the road, get her freedom and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just like crazy stuff that I have to deal with. So I've been helping her out because she's a
oh
good
good.
person. Good person. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to
Well,
do the right thing.
the way I look at it is, and out of my 44 years that I was a police officer, you treat people with respect. You treat people how if you were in their shoes. Doesn't matter the situation. But because right now I can't read your mind drops or anybody in chat or Miss Lori's mind. So I don't know if there's an issue or somebody has a problem, it needs help or whatever. But you still respect the person. And if you don't respect the person, you walk up there, Well, I'm a police officer. I've got a badge and a gun, or what we used to call the John Wayne syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong business because, I mean, is there times when police officers have to act with,
There is.
and all that? Yes. Is
There
there
is.
a time? But it's more about being with the community and all this. You're a part of the community. Yes, you work for those citizens, and if you don't respect them, my little thing that I did was I carried, of course, dog treats in my squad car. I would see citizens walking their dogs. I would pull my squad car over, get out with a dog treat, in my pocket, come up, introduce myself. I would start talking to them and say, "Are y'all having any problems in your neighborhoods? What can we do to help you with you, or if there's any problems? By the way, do you mind if I give your dog a treat?" These people would be like looking like,
Who the heck are you?
cops don't do this.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not neighborhood cops.
Yeah, they
No.
do.
You know?
I have several people in law enforcement in my family also, so I know exactly what you're talking. Serving gun.
So, but
So
it was like
They're few and far between.
there was one of our citizens, her husband had a medical emergency. Yours truly was on scene first. I did everything I could. He passed away. A few days later, I came back. I went up to the door. I rang the doorbell, and met with his wife. And I said, "I'm just here to check on you. Do you need anything? What can I do to help?" She gave me a hug. I hugged her back. Some other citizen just driving through the neighborhood saw me giving her a hug, took a picture of it, posted it on Facebook to my police department, and said, "I don't know what the situation is or what happened, but we need more cops like this."
right.
Oh, really? I thought maybe she was going to badmouth you to the chief or something.
Well, most of
No.
the time they do, Lori. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
know.
But the thing is that there are, and I'm not just saying it's cops. There are good people in every uh, field of work.
Yeah.
Just like there are good cops and there are bad cops. Okay.
There's a lot of people like that are really good and loving, and they actually care about the community. Around here, I don't have to lock my doors. I don't have to lock my cars. There's only like 100 people in this whole little city. I live out in the sticks out in Arkansas. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good people, and there's also a lot of bad people, and it's what it is. But people need to get back to serving humanity as far as being a good person and serve the
Yeah.
community. And I'm sorry, but I would be much richer if I ended up being a politician instead of being an entrepreneur.
There are two things that I am not a fan of. One of them you just mentioned. The other one is lawyers.
Liars.
Yeah. Well,
Liars.
lawyers, yes. Lawyers.
Because the whole thing about it is that, and everybody knows or if you recall, I have this older sister. She is special needs, to the point where she's in a group home since, she's been in this, state mandated homes and all this since as long as I can remember. And they asked me, "Well, do you want to try to get guardianship?" And I said, "I would if I could afford it, because I would have to hire a lawyer. And if it's anybody who's ever been divorced and had child custody, they know how hard it is to try to get custody because you're paying a lawyer $10,000.
I
Not
know.
you know,
Actually, my friend Gary Griffin actually worked. He was the manager at Safeway for years, and then he finally bought his own independent stores. And his ex-wife, he had like 5 kids with her, and then she decided to leave him and go shack up with their uh, ex-druggy boyfriend and all that stuff, and that was horrible. It's horrible because he had to go over there every winter and buy them new clothes and coats and everything for the wintertime. And finally, her and her ex boyfriend, which she lived with, they finally got busted for drugs and went to prison, right? And he finally got the kids, but they were damaged after that, big time. You know, sad to say.
well, it's a shame that I will say this, I have no problem with anybody in the world that wants to come to the United States. Do it legally and you'll be welcomed.
Absolutely.
But when everybody is going, empty the prisons and let them all go to the United States, that's no, no, no.
Yeah, we
No.
we've seen that already. We know that, Chris. We've seen what happens with the garbage that they bring in here. Um, but I'm looking over there in China right now, and a good old friend of mine from high school. I went to high school with. Her name's Sarah, and she works for a three-letter agency. And she learned Russian, and then she went to work for a three-letter agency. You know what I'm talking about, right? And
Yeah.
she's telling me right now stuff. Well, I have like 3 lawyer friends. I used to have 4 that I went to high school with. One fell off he's pretty famous. He fell off a waterfall over there in Norway. But then I got people like Kelly Foote, who's like a brain doctor, like, Dr. Carson. And then I have a friend that's also a heart surgeon, Kev, and he's like, call him Kev, whatever. I'm not going to mention his last name, but he's a heart doctor. I have all kinds of people like that in my association. And, I worked in my lifetime. I wanted to be a rock star. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not kidding.
The new
And
Steve Perry from Journey.
I actually met him. I actually met Bruce Springfield too, by the way. Um,
So you
yeah, I
know
did.
Kenny.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Tommy Shaw's a total a-hole, but Dennis DeYoung was really nice. And, I met a lot of people that went through the factory that we actually manufactured equipment for because I wanted to be an electrician, and they said they had enough of you people, you know, the white people. So they had to
Yeah.
hire everybody else. And then only one guy got in there because he was a foreman's son, right? So I had to go to college to become an electrical engineer, believe it or not, because I
Well,
could be an electrician.
the way I look at it, this is my opinion. There's good and bad of every color, of the two sexes, man or woman. There's good and bad of
Absolutely.
everybody.
There's beautiful women in every color, dude. I tell you that right now. And there's beautiful people around the world. I've had friends from India and China and stuff like that, and they actually own restaurants, and I get to eat for free if I want to go down to Atlanta. But it's another thing sad, but and they immigrated the right way, like you said, and I'm okay with that. You know, let them be who they are, and they have good customs. I mean, even a couple Somalians that I used to take me to the weddings all the time, and roasted goat's pretty good, by the way. The way they cook it, I like it.
Well,
You know,
that's like I have friends that live in Israel because I live there.
right?
And so, and uh I understand what you're saying, as far as other nationalities.
Well, yeah, my dad used to work for the. Well, he got out of. He was in the service. He flew helicopters and single props and double props and stuff like that. And then he actually went to work for the government. The first government he got job he got was flying congressmen back and forth from Colorado. But he before that he
I
did
can only
chopper.
imagine where in Colorado. I could guess it's inside of a mountain.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, we can mention that too. Okay.
Yep.
But they don't really have the command center on the inside the mountain anymore. They have it outside in the building. But yeah, he was a GS-16, one of the final steps when he retired. But he finally got in with the government and stuff like that. And then I got a speech when I was 15 years old. You know what I'm talking about, right? And so
Yes.
and but he did pretty good, and he was flying congressmen back and forth, so he knew a lot of people like that in Congress. He actually testified for the FAA when he was in the FAA for Congress. He actually worked for search and rescue. He flew the plane over there in Nevada for the Park Service, so he got into quite a few good jobs. We moved around a lot. I lived in Oklahoma City. I lived in Gary, Indiana. I was playing with some kids. The kids' names were, the last names were Jacksons. Over there in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
Some black kids I was playing with when I was very little. When we moved from there, we just stayed for a couple months because my great aunt was needing some help, and then we moved back over to Montana. Blah blah blah. I've been all over the country. I've been all over the world. You know, I've been to Singapore. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to quite a few places. Australia, I didn't. I went over there with my sisters because they play basketball, and they actually went over there to play basketball, and got to go with them and stuff like that. And so, been through Europe. My brother lives in the UK. Married a Brit gal. Um, just all kinds of things. I've been all over the world. And I don't want to travel anymore. I'm tired. I one time I had to go into Zurich just for a meeting for a medical device we're developing over here in where state where I used to live. Um, and I flew in there middle of the night. I got up 9 o'clock in Zurich, and then at 11:30 we were done with the meeting. Everybody went to the bar, and we were flying out by about 5 p.m. It's like crazy, but been everywhere, done everything.
You've never had a flight until you've flown in on a long flight of inside a C-130 Hercules.
I've done a hop too. In fact, my old man used to work for the FAA, and they actually sometimes he had certified civilian aircraft, and he said, by the time I was 15, I already had a passport because my old man said, "You want to go to Guam? You want to go to Germany? You want to go here? You want to go there?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, Dad, whatever." It was the weekend.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Lori, how are you tonight?
I am doing very well. Did you hear what my bean spillage was yesterday?
See, I think you got a new Lear jet, is what I heard. A 2025 model. That is red in color. So I guess I'm gonna have to fly that one for you now, I guess.
Yeah, that would be good. That
You
would
actually
be
have
good.
you actually have pilot's license, Chris?
I am a barnstormer.
Okay,
A barnstormer in pilot lingo means no, I don't have a license,
but I
but
can
I can
fly.
fly. I can fly the old prop jobs for sure.
I know I can do it too. My dad taught me when I was young. He used to fly all the time, take me with him all the time. Yep.
But I pick on Miss Lori in a fun way about her having a Lear jet,
Yep.
and now she's got two Lear jets. Yeah.
Well, they're both Chevys.
Well, you're going to have to name one of them 2525.
Well, it is 2525.
I know. Guess which one you're going to have to name it that?
Well, it's
You're not going to name it Red Ball Express, are you?
it's Star Treks. That's what I'm going to name it. Star
sure
Trek's 25.
I have two
20
Chevy pickup trucks, and I didn't spend more than $5,000 on them. You know, I don't buy a car on a loan. I don't buy a house on a loan.
Well, yeah, no loans.
Yeah, no
So,
loans.
No
so Miss,
loans.
so Miss Lori, if it's Star Trek's, is it going to be NCC 2525 and not NCC 1701?
It's gonna be 2525.
I didn't know Lord was a Trekkie.
Oh, there's a lot of
I'm a
things you probably
Trekkie.
don't
Oh
know
yeah,
about
big
her.
time.
Oh,
She
okay, so you're
surprises me a lot.
she's into sci-fi and all that stuff, right?
I'm a Trekkie.
She's not a
Uh,
Star Wars geek though.
Oh yeah, well they you know
well, I've seen the 3 movies that matter. The other
I
ones I couldn't give you 2 cents for.
Lori, I saw Star Wars in the theater when it first came out.
19,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
19
age myself right now, you
I
know.
think I saw the Empire Strikes Back when it was in the theater.
Well, I saw the first one, the Star Wars movie, and I thought I walked out of there and said, "This is like a B movie," you know. It's
I
like
don't think I.
I
I
wasn't
don't
really
think I
impressed.
watched.
I was hooked with Star Wars. I did watch a few Star Trek. The Tribbles,
The
Oh, I remember
Trouble with
those.
Tribbles.
The Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah, I remember that.
and
That
all
was
that. And if anybody had a red shirt on when they
Yeah,
went on the
I
landing
was
party,
destined to die.
they were the first one. They were write-offs, boy. I'm
If he
telling you.
went down on a planet, he was not coming back.
they always killed off the engineers first, didn't they?
Yep,
Come on now.
apparently, because the red shirt was supposed to be engineers.
That's
Except
right.
for Scotty, they didn't kill Scotty off.
Nope, that's the only one that never died.
Well, that was a shame. Whatever. But did I say that? Come on now.
I loved Scotty. Are you
You know,
kidding
back
me?
you.
It was one of my favorites.
I think he's
I
still
think
alive, isn't he?
No,
I think
Yeah.
Captain Kirk had more relationships with the
he-
ladies than I've ever had in my entire life.
no kidding, or anybody else either.
Well, honestly, I've
He
only
had
had.
more than Solomon, I think.
I think I've only had 3 girlfriends before I got married to the first wife, and she passed away from an accident. She was visiting family, and the volcano went off with her in 1991. You know what I'm talking about? Been a while. And then, because I was going to move over there in '92, and I took out my daughter and my
Mount St.
stepson.
Helens.
No, Pinatuba over in the
Oh,
Philippines. My first wife's Filipino.
oh, okay.
And the second wife, she
I was
passed
going
from
to say
cancer.
because
Yeah, second wife died of cancer after 18 years. Um, 6 weeks of downhill, and she was gone. You know,
oh wow,
but I never really had a divorce in my life, and so I don't know that pain, but I know the pain of losing a couple wives. You know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm yawning, so I'm going to probably get off of here. And especially because I know Miss Lori's going to hit the 3-hour mark.
yeah, and I actually I have to jump off pretty quick too because we got to go and do the pickup of the vehicle, and my son is going to be here after he gets out of work at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, I got
Like,
to actually get off too because actually got to take the widow to look at a house over in Pocahontas because she wants to buy a place out there because her house is not very good and she needs something that won't freeze her to death. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, how about 11:30 because I'm done trading stocks by then. Because Friday we got back I got back about 15 minutes before the market closed. And Sean over there, Trader TV. I don't know if you know what Trader TV Live is, but I hang out there with
Mm,
a lot of stock traders because that's what I do also. I'm kind of an amateur at it, but he said, well, Weight Watchers filed Chapter 11, but they're doing something different now, and blah blah blah. So they were at 31 cents a stock price. Okay, and he said, well, if it was me, I'd buy 10,000 shares right now and see what I can get off that. And so I was like, okay, I bought 10,000 shares for like $3,200, and boom, about a minute later, I made $440, just
Wow.
like that, just like that. But I
Well,
do that all the time.
I'm gonna say goodnight to Teresa, Christy at Bayou Back 40, Ace, and I don't know if Troy is still here.
I forgot that,
Probably.
Teresa. Teresa, I
And
forgot that.
Teresa,
Lori's birthday was Thursday, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
yes, yes. And of course, I'm gonna
Oh,
say I'm sending hugs. Love you, Miss Lori. Drops, you be safe, be careful.
I'm going to sing that song just for Lori, Eva Maria. And I will. I just need to practice it because I didn't have the time this week to do anything. I'm so busy doing plant starts and stuff like that because I'm making a new business out of that, and I'm going to include the widow on that on an LLC. So she got some money coming in. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, y'all have a good night and a good tomorrow. Be safe, be careful, and God bless each and every one of you. And love and hugs. And we'll talk to you another time. But
God bless
hey,
you,
there's
brother.
Brother Troy. Good night, my brother.
God
How's your
bless you,
ears?
Chris.
Yeah.
God bless
God
you.
bless you.
Miss Lori, try to behave and don't break the speed limit.
I'll try.
All
You
right.
know, us Southern boys, we like to talk slow and drive fast. So,
Y'all have a
yeah.
good night.
Good night, Chris. Thanks for coming up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, sir. Yeah, I need to get on the computer song. This one ain't working right, so I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's
But
fine.
it's yeah. It says I'm better looking than your Jesus picture, so whatever. Just having fun tonight, but you know,
Yeah, I know.
it's all good. But yeah, do you do a lot of canning?
No, I don't do any canning at all. I actually, I have a canner and I have a few jars, but I don't have a lot. But I really, at this point, I don't have a lot of room in my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I did a lot of canning, I have no place to store the canned goods after I can them.
Really?
I need to do some work on. I think we need to put some more cabinets in the
Together.
dining area, and so I can do more
Well,
of that
I
kind of
asked
stuff.
that question because a lot of people are gonna need to know how to can because I'm looking at reports from China right now and what's going on
Yeah,
in the world, and I think the shelves are going to be pretty empty in a couple months. And
yeah,
I have a bath canner, I have an electric canner, and I have a pressure canner, all
yeah.
American.
I have two
And
pressure cannons that are brand new in the box.
well, I was brought up on like a farm situation because my folks had like 40,000 acres out there in Montana when I was a kid. Then my dad
Wow.
sold it because it was too busy for his crop dusting and flight instructor type of deal before he got work with government. So we sold that ranch out there, and then we got 10 acres, and then but we all grew up learning how to do things in my family. Um, the girls and the boys all learned how to change a tire, change the oil, do basic maintenance on cars. We learned how to knit and sew and crochet. I know how to do that too. I even have a quilt that me and my aunt, my mother made together still today.
Oh, nice.
So we all learned how to do all those basic things because back then in Montana,
You
if it
had to know how to do all of that.
if it snowed, if it snowed, you were stuck there for 3.5 months, not being
Yeah.
able to get out because there's no plow trucks back then. And
No. Not out in the boonies, especially.
Yeah, well, we had to learn everything when I was a kid, and everybody in the family did the same thing. We learned how to can, learn how to sew, crochet, and most people think that guy knows how to sew and crochet is not very masculine, right? It's like,
Oh,
you know,
bull. My brother used to do quilting
well, yeah, I'm about average height for
and
my family
sewing.
for a man. I'm 6'2". And I took care of cows and butchered hogs and goats and sheep and small animals like chickens. And um, last girlfriend didn't work out so well. Um, I thought
Yeah, I
she,
think you were talking about that the other night.
yeah, I thought she was the one, but she talked a good game and stuff, and she came over and lived with me for a couple years, and I found out that she likes to call the cops on all her boyfriends, and I was like, I never had the cops in my house until she showed up.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and she called the cops on her ex-boyfriend, her husbands, and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, get out of my house. I'm done.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of trouble.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous, and so I've been dealing with that drama for a while, and finally got rid of her. And I was like, yeah, no, I've been married twice. My wife, 18 years, never called the cops on me. Neither did the other one, Yali or Juju. And I was like, I don't need this crap. So I was
Yeah.
like, never been through that kind of stuff because my folks are married 66 years, for Christ's sakes. You know, I grew up where you get married, you don't cheat, and you don't do anything wrong. And this girl was just like, she's messed up. So I gave up now. I'm 60 years old, and still have all my hair, but I'm not looking anymore. I'm just done. Um, I've had enough, Lori. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'm glad you have a husband still that loves you and everything like that because that's very special and important in life.
Yeah, 54 years. 54 years married next month, the
Yeah, well,
17th. And we were together for 2 years before that.
yeah, well,
And
that's kind of special because you don't really get that chance in a lot of life. And
yeah,
I would have been, I still would be with the same wife I was with, after 18 years of marriage. Loved her
yeah,
that much, and I grew up with great parents. They were like, leave it to Beaver people. You know what I'm saying? The kids would come over and mom would say, "You hungry?" And she feed them.
yeah,
And they had a problem. They come over and do whatever they want to do. I'd like to say that I had horrible parents when I grew up, but to be honest with you, they were leave it to Beaver parents. They were just the perfect parents. They were neighborhood mom and dad and stuff like that. It
yeah,
was just amazing. You know, I just grew up in such a great family, and even when they passed away, there was no fighting over money. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing, and everything's good. You
well,
know,
that's good.
I
It's
had a
good
great.
to have a good family
I still
that
have a great
doesn't have a
family.
lot of strife.
I still have a great family, and we're still on talking levels, and we're all doing good. And we support each other. If one of us has a problem, we just come right there and take care of it. And most people don't have that though. I noticed that,
I
and
know.
I hear about these families, and I'm just really like, you know, wow, you know, your brother did this or your sister did that, and it's like, are you kidding me? I just don't get it.
Yeah. Hi, Marishu.
And there's some people in chats and saying, Monsieur B and Teresa and Ace is always a good person. But I'm just telling you that that most people don't have a good life like that, and I'm just surprised by it because family is everything, and so is
Yeah,
good friends.
absolutely. Absolutely. Good friends are hard to find and keep
They
because,
are.
Some
Like,
people, they might be fair weather friends. They're only friends when things are going good, and then
and then when they
when they're tired of you, or
or you have a
you
problem, they
have a
just disappear.
disagreement or something,
And they
they're
disappear.
off and gone.
They
Yeah.
disappear real quick. Yeah, just
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I like the community I'm living in right now because it's really small with 100 people in town, and I really wanted to just like find a place out in the middle of the country with nobody around. But you know, like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I have to keep reinventing myself when stuff falls down in the market, and I do whatever I do. But I'm not doing. I'm not. I don't have to worry about a government check. I don't have to worry about going to a job. Okay.
That's
I
good.
know I know how to make money. I know how to be an entrepreneur. I know how to do things that most people don't. And the more experience you get on things, I give it up to my parents because they were well rounded in teaching you how to do certain skills. I learned how to weld. I learned how to, do woodworking, and stuff like that. I can make my own furniture. I can weld. Um, I can do just about everything you can think about. I don't really.
I guess when you live on a farm, you have to learn all that stuff.
Well, yeah, farm ranch. We had a ranch out there in Montana, and then we lived on a little farm after that. After my dad got tired of it, because there was no money in ranching over there in Montana for a long time. But
Yeah.
you learn how to do things because you have to, and
Yeah.
life skills are very important. So teach your kids as much as you can because um, if you're living in an apartment at 60 years old or whatever, I can't imagine that. I my
I
my
would
fir-
never want to go back to an apartment
I
ever.
when I moved out at 17, I had a job. I was almost 18, and I rented a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house. And I've lived in an apartment one time in my life, one time,
Ugh.
and I can't imagine living in an apartment. Can you?
I lived in an apartment all while I was growing up, and I lived in an apartment until I was 21, 22. We moved out, and we came here. We bought this house, and we've been
But
here ever since.
can you imagine somebody that's lived in an apartment their entire life? It just,
Oh, I know a lot of people that have, yeah. And
yeah,
I don't understand how they could do it because I could never stand it. I hated being in an apartment because
yeah. There's
it's not your own, and
there's
you're
always noise.
always subject to what the neighbors are bitching about, and
Yeah, the neighbors
yeah,
fighting or whatever, and you hear
and the
all that.
landlords dealing with landlords and rent that never ends. No,
I bought 5 houses in my life, and I've paid cash for every one of them, and I'm debt free for over 2 decades. So that's where I stand with this stuff. But I'd like to teach people how to do this stuff, but they just sometimes they can't get out of their own way.
they don't want to hear it.
I know,
Because
and
they want to have more than what they can afford, and then they wonder why they end up in debt, and then they want the government to take care of it.
I bought this place last year. Okay, you want to guess how much I paid for this 2,700 square foot house?
Um, how many years ago?
1 year.
A year ago.
Yeah, this is my fifth house I bought. Last one I bought for 114, sold it for like 235. How much do you think this house is worth now that I bought?
I have no idea. You asked me if I wanted to buy it for 350,000.
Right, I bought it for 80 grand cash, and
Wow!
it's now worth about 230, 240 in
Because
1 year.
you've been fixing it up and
No, just
improving it.
everybody wants to move out in the country here because they're tired of the city,
Uh,
and it went up
yeah.
like 3 times what I paid for it. And I was like, it's now worth 230, 240. So if you want to
Wow.
buy me out, 350 will get it, and I'll just move up the road about half a mile up the
People
road and buy 30 acres up there because I already know that's there, and I'm thinking about buying it anyways.
people call me up, call us up all the time. Yeah, I'm so and so from
Yeah, and they want to buy it.
some we're just wondering about your property there. How much would you sell it for? I don't know. Give me $1 million, and I might think about it.
The last place I bought was like 60 grand. I paid cash for it, and they wanted to offer me anywhere from 210 to 250 for it.
When we bought this house, we paid 16 grand for it. 16.5.
Oh yeah, it's probably worth about probably about a $250,000 or
That
half
was
a million dollars.
52 years ago.
Well, the way
50
you,
years ago.
where you're at right now, I probably think that house probably about $500,000 or more, right?
I'm not even sure what exactly. Well, for one thing, it's got a pond in the backyard. It's not our pond, but there's a pond right in the backyard that's less than 30 feet from our back door.
Yeah, I get it, but
So
I'm thinking
waterfront
probably
property is definitely a plus. So we've had people assess it for, I mean, on our taxes it's like assessed at 200 and something,
yeah. So it's probably
230,000 or
worth
something. It's
three
probably
quarter
worth
million dollars.
another 100 more than that.
It's probably worth $750,000 right now.
Heck,
I'm
it's a
telling you.
possibility. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know, but all I know is I would never sell it because it's the perfect spot. We bought this place because of where it is and the fact that there's not a lot of houses around us.
right.
It's very private. There's a small highway not too far from us that we have access to, that we can go anywhere in the state
It's
with.
probably worth $1 million then. Where you're at right now.
It's it's really in an ideal spot.
But I bought property and I sold property. I make money off of property, but I also made money off of swing trades where I don't know, you know what a swing trade is, right?
No.
Um, I buy a certain stock and I wait 3 to 6 months and then it goes up exponentially, and then I make like 60 to $700,000 off it every year.
Wow.
I do that kind of stuff. But I've also been in business for a long time and I know how to make money. And I've made money off of property and off of stocks. And it's just the way it is. I mean, I've never bought something and sold for less than I bought it for. It's just crazy. But I don't have to get up in the morning and work if I don't want to. I just get up whenever I want to. I get up and trade stocks, and I get up and I do my little special business. Like I told you, I had like two dial ISPs, right?
Hmm.
So I bought some wholesale dial ISPs back in the old days, and I turned around like and I programmed a little disc so they could shove it in the computer, sign up online, and all that stuff, and distribute them all over Atlanta. I had over 5,000 people on those things. I was making $1.25, $1.50 profit every month off of them, and I was buying computers by the pallet, laptops and whatever had master disk to actually fix them and load them up with Windows and stuff like that and resell them legitimately. I was making. I bought them for like $15, $25 a piece. I was selling them for $200 or $300. That's what I was doing. And then my wife looked at me one time and she said, "You gonna go look for a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I will." I was
She
laughing.
had
It's like
no idea how you were making money.
she had no idea. No, and all she knew was that when she got bored, I was like, well, you want to go shopping, hon? She's like, yeah. I give her $100 and she'd be gone for half a day. Leave me alone so I could work. Yeah, it was funny, but I was making $5,000 or $7,000 a month or whatever, and then times got hard. I got laid off from an engineering job over there in Atlanta. There wasn't much for like 52, and it's kind of a fun story. So I finally got tired of looking for lame jobs over there in Atlanta because there wasn't really anything going on. So I went in there in unemployment and said, I'm going to file for unemployment, right? I worked a lot of jobs. I worked high tech R&D. And so I worked for a lot of companies that did military contracts. And so I worked on some of the stuff, and I can't tell you what I did because you really have to have a Q clearance to even get there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
yeah, well, you design a power supply for something, but you can't be compartmentalized because you really have to know what you're doing. So I got tired of that, and wasn't any good jobs over there in Atlanta. My wife didn't want to move. I went out to California, got a job over at Vista, California, over there at Polaris Pool, and worked for them for about 6 months. And she went out there and says, "Nah, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna move here." So she was 6 months pregnant, and I was like, "Okay, I got to go back home to Atlanta." So I finally went over there and I filed for unemployment, and I got in there and said, "I'm filing for unemployment and stuff like that." And you know what they told me? Well, how about retraining? And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Retraining from what? I'm an engineer, right?" Said,
Yeah.
and they said, "How about truck driving?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, I was laughing my butt off. And then it said, "How much does that pay?" I got sarcastic about it because I'm a very sarcastic person. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it in my comments sometimes.
I have a PhD in sarcasm.
Yeah, I know. My mother was very good at it, and actually, she was. If you want to play mind games, you could play mind games with my mother. That's where I got it from.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, she was one of those German type of women. You know what I'm saying? And she would
Yep.
really bend the mind. But I said, "How much does it pay?" And she goes, "They go, well, if you're a company driver, you make 34 to 42 a year." And I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, and I looked at him, I was like sarcastically, and I said, "How much for one truck?" So they showed me the figures, and I was like, "Wow, okay. So you're gonna pay for me to learn how to do all this stuff and get me my license and pay me unemployment at the same time?" I said, "Okay."
Such a deal.
I said, "Okay," because I always went for the money. And that first year I sucked it up and I drove for a company for 6 months, and then I bought my own truck for $23,000 in cash, became owner operator, and made $136,000 that year. And the next year I made over $250,000 every year for the next 4 years until the market fell out. So that's when I made my first million. I never made that
That's not
in
bad.
engineering. I worked 100 something hours a week, doing engineering with jobs and stuff like that. I had to fly over Zurich. I told you about that. And, you know, that's when I became an entrepreneur. It's because I realized that it doesn't matter what your job title is, it's how much you make and how you make your money. And I got in stock trading in 2005. I listened to Jim Cramer for a couple of years. He just lost me money and blah blah blah. But I learned how to trade stocks. Now I can sit there and do swing trades and long-term trades and day trading, and I know how to make a couple $1,000s a week easy. It's what it is, Lori. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm
I
sorry about the
guess.
light. I'm sorry about the light bulb because I don't know what's up with this camera, but it just doesn't seem to work very good. I probably have to switch to another computer. I got 5 laptops and 2 workstations, anyways, around here. But you know, you learn how to make money and you work for yourself. I haven't worked for anybody in 30 years. In 30 years.
That's not bad.
On top of
I
that,
hate to
besides,
I hate to interrupt, but I really need to get to sleep because I got to be up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's already 3 o'clock in the morning here now.
Yeah, I know. I probably got to get up around 10:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever. I'll be up at 6:30.
And I'm
I only
not
sleep.
used to getting up early. I
I
usually
only,
sleep till noon.
I only sleep about 5 6 hours a day. Since I was a teenager. So, you know,
Oh, I
but
can't do that.
I know how to make money.
Sometimes that's all I can get, but it's
I know.
not because I don't need more. Sometimes I just can't get any more than that because I wake up and then I lay there for an hour or so trying to get back to sleep. And I finally fall back to sleep, and I might get another hour after that. But
Well, I'm used to getting up feeding chickens and all that stuff, and uh,
ah,
it's
I
like
don't have
six.
that problem. I don't have chickens to feed. I don't have kids. I mean I don't have little kids. My kids are all grown up.
Yeah, grandkids and stuff like that. But I got.
I don't have any of them either.
Anyways, just wanted to talk to you tonight and give you a little history, and you know, and
Well, it
and
was nice of you to stop up and pop up and chat for a while. I enjoyed it, and we can definitely do this again.
yeah.
But I
Well,
really need to sleep, and I've been ignoring chat.
I'm reading it, and it's like I saw me, and blah 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 blah, and I'm looking through it and everything, and it's so good. But you know, the thing is, I'm trying to tell people that you know I think you really need to prep up right now because I think we got a couple months for things to get really bad. And I'm looking at stuff over in China and muscle stuff. That's the cat. I got 4 cats. The ex left me. But please prep up, guys. If you haven't prepped up before, learn how some skills. Learn how to prep up and be a homesteader, whatever you need to do.
Oh, I
Because
definitely have. I have a stash of food
yeah,
stashed
we all
away.
we all do, and don't show it because I don't want people to know about it. But
Oh yeah, I don't. I know. I never show it. I never talk about how much I have either.
yeah, me neither. But I'm gonna
I
tell you
just.
right, what we're looking at right now is back in the early '90s, and I don't know if you know about the early '90s, but Japan, we put tariffs on them too.
Hmm.
They had to sell stuff at a loss, and I think China's going to do the same thing. But you need to be careful because I think things might get a little scarce on the shelves right now. So just so y'all know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's good news to be spreading around and let people know.
Yeah, it is. And I grew up in a Mormon family, you know that. So
Oh
um
yeah, they're definitely into stocking up on
yeah.
anything and everything.
You always have 1 to 3 years worth of food around. So
I used to be a member of Glenn Beck's Insider channel.
Glenn, yeah, I gotta love him.
Yeah, yeah, Glenn.
He's kind of a fraud, but he's not. But he lives over there in Wyoming now, and I think he actually lives over
Is he
there.
living in Wyoming now? Because I know he was living in Texas, I think, for a while.
Yeah, he lives in Wyoming, I think. But
Yeah.
he's kind of a prepper, but not really, And and he's been kind of like a blowhard to me. I just
Oh,
don't
I
really.
know. I know. Trust me. I was we were on his channel for let's see. I first signed up when he absolutely first started his inside his channel on the internet.
Right. Be very
And
careful about the internet now.
he had the part of his um channel he had forums that people could go in and chat,
Yeah.
and I was a member of that for probably at least 10 years.
Yeah, be very careful of people like that because they pronounce a lot of stuff, but they really don't follow through with it. And I
Oh, I
am,
know. I
I
know.
am,
He was I could see a lot through what he was saying and doing.
yeah, I'm very careful of people like that because they're ultimately they're just like another politician just wants the bucks.
Mm,
And a lot of them are crying
exactly.
right now because they got their stuff wiped out. Now they're trying to re-image themselves.
Yeah.
And we're talking about lipstick on the pig with Mr. Orange Man. I'm not uh, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I am somebody else that's practical, and you have to be very careful about these people because all they do is they learn how to get in there and make money off of you.
Yeah. I know.
So be very careful because
I
and don't believe
I
it.
am not worried about the money. It's I have better things to worry about.
Yeah, well, if you're in a 401k, this is not financial advice.
Not anymore.
Fiduciary.
No.
This,
My husband's retired. I'm retired.
well,
Nothing is 401k anymore.
I'm not a financial advisor, not a fiduciary, but I guarantee you that you might be better off putting stuff in the gold and silver IRAs instead of 401ks. But then
That's what
again,
everybody says.
in 1933, FDR actually, took us off the gold. He took us off the gold
Exactly.
standard, stole the gold. You had to pay.
He certainly did. Everybody said, "Oh, FDR was a good man." Bullshit.
He was a piece of
Pardon my
crap.
French.
He was a piece of crap. You know that.
I know. I know.
Nixon wasn't even better. Nixon did the same thing. But I can see you tired, Lauren. I'll let you go.
Politicians will be politicians. It doesn't matter what side of the fence they're sitting on.
Yeah, well, someday maybe I'll talk to you about economics, and we can talk about the economic things and stuff like that. And it's too much to go through tonight. I know you're tired, but we can
Yeah,
go
I
all the way.
really need to sleep.
We can steer us into how some people got us into war and everything. Monday is the elections for Canada, and I'm worried
Yeah,
about the Canadians
I
because
know.
Carney's nothing but a Rothschilds. You know that. So it's going to be a bad deal for them if they elect him because he's going to be nothing but torpedo the country, and I'm really concerned about that because 85% of the stuff that Canada sells to the United States, and they're going to be in trouble. So all this stuff is not going to go down well if they choose the wrong person. But I'm not going to get into politics. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm going to let you go and say goodnight. And
All right.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation. If you want to talk more about business and the stuff that if people in the chat want to talk about how to start a business and do a business, I can definitely guide you if you're willing to learn, and it's not going to cost you a damn dime. Okay, I know how to do business. I've been doing it for 30 years. I know how to run an LLC and how to run the money without even paying taxes. If you want to learn, I'll teach you. I can teach you everything you need to know. You just have to be willing to listen.
All right. I have to sleep.
I hear you. Good night.
Good night, Drops. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. And I love you, Laurie. You're a very good person.
Thank you so much. Love you too, and God bless.
God bless you.
Uh, let me see. I should probably go back and look at the chat and see what people have been talking about that I've totally missed. Uh, oh, I would love a steam canner. Yeah. But that's only good for that's that's not as good as a pressure canner, I don't think. Because you can't do meat in a steam canner. You can only do veggies, I think. I'm not sure I even trust an electric canner. Oh, right. Marishu's birthday. Happy birthday, Marishu. Pink Bubbles reminds me of bubblegum. Yes, absolutely. Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Tiny bubbles. Dean Martin. I also have a best friend. I really love to have friend, childhood, high school, relatives, cousin, neighbors. I agree, Marishu. I don't believe your best friend is your enemy. I really don't believe. Sing it, girl. I'm just seeing double bubble. Laurie, I'm drifting away. I'm sorry, Ace. I wanted to sing you a song again, but I think it's getting kind of late for that. Give me the beat, boy, and feel. Give me the beat, boy, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boy, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Who did that? Dang it. Okay. I have to sleep. Good night, Teresa. I'm sorry I missed you saying good night. Did Troy say he's going to sleep too? Oh, Ace is saying good night. Good night, Christy. I'm sorry I wasn't here. Good night, lurkers. Avid. We know you're there. Somewhere. Out there. Somewhere out there. Good night, Pink Bubble. Oh, drop. Good night, drop. I use a Carry electric canner. Works great for small batches. Actually saw Don Ho in Hawaii live. Oh, cool. All right, guys. I caught up with chat. I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes. And if I have a car or some little snafu popped up to interfere with our plan for picking it up tomorrow, and I'm going to have to get a hold of my insurance agent first thing in the morning before we can even go and pick it up and figure out what we need to do. I'm pretty sure that should be no problem because it should it should be all set because I left them a message, and I'm afraid they're going to be calling me like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm definitely going to have to wake up early, and I'm not going to be happy camper because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to wake up after 6 hours because it's going to take me a half an hour just to go upstairs and get undressed and get ready for bed and try to get to sleep. And that's probably not going to work out very well because I'm probably going to end up laying there thinking about everything and trying to go to sleep and saying my prayers, trying to say my prayers before I fall asleep. Anyway, I love you all. Good night. I will probably see you tomorrow night somewhere. I'm hoping maybe Trey will actually go live tomorrow night on our Louisiana Life because he hasn't been on in probably a month, close to a month. I hope his cow finally had her calf and he can calm down a little bit and maybe do a live tomorrow night. That would be great. Anyway, good night, everybody. I love you. Whole bunches. God bless. And I'll catch you later. Good night. Love you.